Hi gamers, it's me, Underwater Dog, and I'm going to be your guide today as we explore a simpler time and a simpler game.
Okay.
So close your eyes and let me take you all the way back to 2009. You just got home from a long day of being bullied and not talking to any girls at your school. You beg your mom to take you to Blockbuster so you can rent a game for your Xbox 360 to ease the pain. You get to the failing video rental franchise, scan the shelves, and the beautiful visage of Hugh Jackman as the Wolverine catches your eye. You just saw the movie and thought it was the sickest shit you ever saw, so you know this game is about to blow your little nuts off, and blow your nuts off it did. To sum it up, if listening to Linkin Park and slamming Monster Energy drinks was a game, this would be it. The X-Men Origins Wolverine game and movie actually came out on the same day, May 1st, 2009, but can you guess which one is better? That's right, the game. It received a cool 77% on Metacritic, while the movie only received a Rotten Tomatoes score of 38%. The 2000s were rife with these movie tie-in games, but as far as they go, X-Men Origins Wolverine was actually pretty good. Now, it's no Ratatouille, because I mean, come on, be realistic, but it's a close second best. And you know, currently Insomniac, the makers of the new Sony Spider-Man games, are working on a new Wolverine game, and since I'm terminally online as well, I also keep hearing stirrings of a new Wolverine movie. And I've seen the fan cast posted online. With this knowledge, I really wanted to replay the older game, and I checked it out on Steam to see if I could buy it. Okay, well, it looks like the copyright of the game was lost when Disney bought Marvel, and you can no longer get it. Lucky for me, I found a copy of the game in the woods behind my house. Getting into it, X-Men Origins Wolverine is a third-person hack and slash game, or should I say, hack and claw, that takes much of its inspiration from the God of War games. It generally plays much like any other third-person game in which all you do is mow down groups of enemies, do some light platforming, and solve the occasional puzzle that is so easy it's an insult to your intelligence. Just turn your brain off, pick up the controller, and roll your face against the buttons. But also remember to take a break every now and then to enjoy some Doritos and Mountain Dew. You gotta take care of yourself. Back to the game. Boy, is it fun to watch Wolverine rip through enemies and seeing the gruesome animations of people getting their limbs ripped off. I mean, they really were able to nail the badass feeling of being a super mutant with claws, a crazy healing factor, and a bad attitude. Enemies will scream and crawl away when you approach them, and the combat feels visceral and meaty with plenty of strawberry jam splashing on your screen as you dice people up. On the surface, the combat does appear simple, but they did nail the fighting style of the Wolverine. Most of it will consist of stringing light and heavy attacks together to perform combos where Wolverine will jump, spin, and jab people in the dick, but the combat has a rapid flow to it that is aided by Wolverine's ability to lunge on enemies from a distance. Lock onto someone and Wolverine will follow them to the ends of the earth, follow up with a throw, a mauling, or a lethal finisher. Grapple someone and Wolverine can perform a finisher where you have to time the twinkle on the Wolverine claws to disembowel the enemy or tear their head off. Some of the environment can be interacted with as well. Grab someone near a forklift and Wolverine will slam them onto one of the forks. A spike on the ground? Don't mind if I do. Even throwing enemies into certain trees will impale them for a one shot. And my personal favorite is simply throwing everyone off the edge of a fucking cliff. And the more the Wolverine kills, the angrier he gets in the form of the rage bar below your health. Spin the rage to perform powerful Wolverine attacks. For example, the first one you get is Claw Spin, in which you can use it to dispatch large groups of enemies, as well as absolutely fucking your screen up. My favorite one is Berserker Rage, in which Wolverine attacks faster, does more damage, and slips around like a newborn baby dolphin. You can upgrade these moves along with your base health, attack damage, and rage meter as you level up throughout the game. Since Wolverine has a healing factor, your health bar will eventually refill once you don't take damage for a while. However, you do have a second health meter that will permanently take damage when you lose the first bar, and you can die when it is depleted. What's cool is you can see the physical damage Wolverine takes from guns and weapons and use that as a means to gauge your health. Sometimes you can get so wounded you'll be able to see the skeleton underneath. Spooky. As you heal, his flesh will slowly regenerate. Sadly, so does his clothing. The combat is able to stay fairly fresh since you'll face a lot of different enemies enemy types such as Machete Ninja, Shield Guy, Tall Ninja, and Tall Smurf. Each one has at least 2 finisher animations, and you'll have to take them down in different ways. For example, with the ninja characters, you'll have to use the parry mechanic where you block perfectly to do big damage with the counter attack. You can also parry projectiles such as a rocket back at enemies. One problem I did have with this game is the mini bosses, because they are just absolutely terrible. There are 2 variations and they practically play out the same way. Dodge around until you can lunge on their backs, jab them a lot, and then repeat until they die. Now for the main boss fights, this is where the game is pretty hype. You'll fight Sabretooth, who is just a meaner version of you, the Blob, Gambit, a Sentinel, and a few others. Each one requires a different strategy to defeat, and they can actually be pretty challenging. My favorite was the Blob, in which it has you getting on his back and steering him through the aisles of a grocery store to damage him. Many of them also have different stages, such as the Sentinel fight, where at one point you'll end up skydiving through the air, dodging debris. Like any other movie tie-in game, the story of X-Men Origins Wolverine is slightly altered to accommodate a roughly 5 to 6 hour campaign. And I really don't want to bore you with the details, so I'm going to dumb this down a lot to get it out of the way. Logan gets betrayed by his former teammates, has his GF get killed by his brother Sabretooth, gets an indestructible adamantium skeleton to get revenge, gets betrayed again, meets Will.i.am of the Black Eyed Peas, goes to a casino, confronts his old boss Stryker, learns his GF is alive and never loved him, fights his brother again, learns his GF actually did love him, fights a fucked up Deadpool, reunites with his GF, and then gets fucking shot in the head and knocked out. Before getting killed, however, his GF sends Stryker away with her secret mutant powers, and then she walks into a lake and drowns herself. What the fuck? Logan wakes up having realized that the whole thing was just a dream. The end. Just kidding, it wasn't really a dream, but I mean, it's surprising the story stays pretty true to the movie with only a few things added, but please don't mistake that for being good, because it's not really all that great. Now with that terrible story out of the way, we can talk about the one good thing to come out of it, the levels. We got Africa, Stryker's compound, a secret science facility, more Africa, and a casino. Each of these places vary with different enemy types and mechanics. The science facility has us fighting robots and using teleporters, while Stryker's compound lets us crawl through vents and deal with invisible ops. And I know what you're thinking, and I'll say it for you. Yes, this game is kinda ugly. No need to lie about it. At this point, it's part of its charm, but at least the level design is fairly detailed and varied. They went pretty light on the colors, and it's usually a lot of muted tones of gray and brown. I mean, maybe if you were back in 2009, you would have been like, damn, some of this looks actually pretty cool. And I'm not gonna lie, there are moments where it's not too bad, but for the majority of the time, it can look kinda bleak. Oh, and here's just a random thing I remembered all of a sudden. There are no subtitles in this game. Wolverine fucking hates deaf people. Okay, continuing. Scattered through the levels are pickups and collectibles you can grab, such as mutagens, which enhance certain elements of combat, or little trophies which eventually allow you to unlock cool outfits, such as Wolverine's classic yellow look, or my favorite, the X-Force outfit. To unlock these, you need to first defeat that version of Wolverine in a special mode available from the main menu. This was a pretty cool idea, so hats off to whoever thought of it. There are also some pretty cool Easter eggs hidden around, such as this nod to World of Warcraft and this Portal reference. In each level, there are certain scripted sections where Wolverine goes through QuickTime-esque events, such as lunging from vehicle to vehicle or shooting boats using an LMG. And if I had a nickel for every time Wolverine took down a helicopter in this game, I wouldn't have much money, but it's still strange how often it occurs. The game gives you a lot of these moments where Wolverine feels like an absolute savage. I mean, look at this scene of him combating through the sky and obliterating the mechanical brains of this giant sentinel. He should have fucking died, and then he just walks away like nothing happened. There are so many badass cutscenes in this game, and it's made better by the fact that Hugh Jackman is actually voicing the Wolverine. Heck, even Sabretooth and Will.i.am are voiced by their original actors. They really don't make movie tie-in games like they used to, or at all anymore in fact, because honestly, most of them sucked. Sorry Balls of Fury for the Wii, but it's true. We were just kids. We didn't know any better. Now they just tend to focus on the actual IP and make something totally new to represent that license. But X-Men Origins Wolverine will always have a special place in my heart, because at the end of the day, it was a solid 7 out of 10 movie game and not a steaming pile of crap. And that's all from me. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please subscribe if you liked it. Bye bye. Have a good day.